Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're members of the Black Belt Karate Association here from Oklahoma City, and we're going to come out today and give you a demonstration of some martial arts technique. We've got our junior demo team with us today, and they're going to show you some of the things that they've developed in karate. I think probably now almost everybody has had some contact with karate training, either through martial arts movies, magazines, a relative in the family maybe that got into the training a little bit. And we're real proud of the accomplishments that a lot of our kids have had. We're going to tell you a little bit more about them the more we're into the demonstration today. But we worked up some things we think you'll enjoy. We'd like to show you a little bit about it, maybe answer some questions that you have about karate and about the training involved, what it can or what it can't do, things about the self-confidence factors, the self-discipline involvement, and obviously the physical fitness and the activity of just being involved in the martial arts. What we're going to work with today, it'll be involving several different areas in karate training, and as we find, most people have different attitudes or desires or goals in terms of getting into karate, and we like to give you some of these diversified attitudes and show you that there is more than just one thing to martial arts training. Obviously, the self-defense factor is big, and we work primarily on that to show power and strength in all the techniques we apply, but we do get into the aesthetic side of karate as well, dealing with forms and katas. The very first kata that we're going to be working with today is one that our demo group has worked together, and we're going to show you a little bit about that. Lawler. And Chris Ponstein. Next. Robbie O'Hara. Melissa Hill. Jackie Hubbard. And Steve Hill. Shows you a little bit about the formal training. Originally, the kata development, which is what that is called, is a kata or a form. The Koreans call them hyungs. It's basically the same thing. As you may be familiar in gymnastics exercises, in competitions, there are floor exercises where the competitors are scored on a score from 1 to 10 on their accomplishment. The same thing is done in karate. And we do have competitions that these young people compete in all over the state and out of the state as well, where they can perform their katas in front of other people, along with other people that are competing at the same level. They're graded by a judge of black belt panelists, and they're scored on the same structure, a 1 to 10 score. Several of our students have done very, very well in this area, and we'd like to kind of tell you a little bit about them. Stephen Hill is our youngest brown belt out of our studio. Steve had attained brown earlier in the year, and already this year he's won over 20 trophies in karate competition, both in the sparring or fighting area of karate and in form competition. So he's a very avid karate enthusiast, and he's out there all the time. He competes out of state. He's been to Texas, Missouri, he's been to Atlanta, he's been all over the place. So he competes quite heavily. Okay, Dude Petty has been in with us for a long time. Dude started at the age of 6, and around 1975 or 4. I can't even remember myself how long he's been there. It's been a long time. Dude is quite accomplished in karate. He has won over 350 trophies in karate training since he's begun, and has probably got more ring experience in competition than most adult black belts. I know probably more so than any other one in the state of Oklahoma. So he also has been very diversified. He's fought all over. I can't think of too many states that he hasn't been in to compete. So dude has done extremely well, and you'll be seeing some more things that he'll be doing a little bit later today. The next area we like to show you will involve some of the kicking techniques in karate. Your legs are very, very strong. Your legs are 4 to 7 times as strong as your arms. And they can be very, very effective if you learn how to use them properly. Obviously, flexibility is the key. If you're not very flexible, if you can't use that leg very easily, then there's going to be a problem. So we want to always work on the flexibility area and try to get to the point where those legs are applied very, very easily. Since there is an awful lot of power, and we don't like to get hit ourselves, I don't want to get my ribs broken or my teeth knocked out, and these guys feel the same way, we've got to find some alternative to be able to determine if the technique is strong and effective or if it's not. So by working on these kicking shields, we're able to determine a little bit more about our power. If I'm holding it and you hit me and you knock me back 4 or 5 feet, then we know it's a good technique. You applied it well because I didn't want to move. I wanted to stand there and hold on to that thing. If you hit it and fall down, then we know that wasn't too good. That's not what we wanted to accomplish. So at any point, a beginner can determine how effective his strike is. So that's very important to us, is realism, not injury. We don't want to get hurt, but we want to know if the movement is effective or not. Okay, these guys are going to start off by showing you a front thrust kick. It's probably one of the easier kicking techniques that's applied. They'll be throwing a front thrust kick, hitting with the rear foot. All right, guys, whenever you're ready, start throwing some front thrust kicks in here. Okay, the idea with the front kicks is to hit with the ball of the foot and to try to drive it in a straight line. There are different angles and ways the kicks can be thrown. We want to try to throw this one in a straight line and use that body weight as much as possible. Okay, the next kick they're going to show you now will be a side kick or a side thrust kick. They'll be stepping in on this one and hitting with the heel of the foot. Side kick is one of the stronger basic kicks because of the hard force that the heel can apply. It's the hardest portion of your foot. It's not going to hurt you to hit somebody with that heel. If it hits him, it can be a real problem, especially since the main target is about rib level, the low rib area, because it's one of the weaker areas. Someone hauls off and they want to try to slug you, and your leg is a lot longer than their arm, and you can stick that heel in there. They may not want to try to slug you again. They have a hard time breathing. Okay, the next one they're going to be throwing is a turning back kick, where they're hitting with the rear foot. They're spinning and hitting, trying to hit in with that heel the same way. In fact, you may notice one of our top black belt students, Tommy Williams, is the PKA, or was the PKA World Light Welterweight Champion, the only full contact karate champion from Oklahoma. He recently, I'd say recently, March or April of this year, had lost his world title. He's going to be fighting again. We're going to have a card at the Myriad November the 10th. Tommy will be on that card trying to work on regaining that title. This won't be a title fight, but he is trying to take a couple of short level fights and come back and get a shot at that world title again. I hope you'll be able to see it. It'll be November 10th at the Myriad. Okay, now they're going to be showing you some of the arcing kicks. Those straight line kicks can be effective if the body weight's really applied. They're going to show you some arcing movement where they're going to be swinging around and striking. Just like a boxer has to have a hook as part of his arsenal, we try to use some legs that also have the angular type of capability. They're going to start off with a rear leg round kick, hitting with that back leg. This involves pivoting the body and spinning and trying to hit with that foot. We never really want to make contact with the toes. Hitting with your toes is like punching a bag with your hand open. All you'll end up doing is breaking a finger. The same thing can happen with those toes. Okay, a front leg heel kick will be the next movement they're going to apply. This involves using your leg kind of like a baseball bat. They're going to step up and hit with the heel. be nice if you were going to be attacked or in a trouble situation if you had a baseball bat. But there are times when it's not available. Hopefully you'll always have that leg with you, and if you know how to apply it, you got something going. Next one will be a spinning heel kick, where they're going to turn their entire body around and hit with the leg. Again, using that baseball bat philosophy of trying to turn in and strike. Obviously, the faster you turn, the harder you hit. The problem on these turns is, if you're not careful, you get dizzy. If you get dizzy, you really have a problem. Okay, that'll give you a little bit of an idea about how some of the kicks are applied and how these people will train in trying to work them. What we're going to work with now is try to get into some self-defense techniques, and these will be involving some of the weapons that may be applied from time to time. Normally, you don't want a problem with anybody. And that's normally our philosophy, is if you can avoid a confrontation, avoid it. If you can get out of there, get out. But there are times where maybe you just can't get out. The door's locked. You threw a chair through the window to try to get away, but there were iron bars on the other side. You're stuck with this guy, and he's intent on doing something to you with a knife or a pipe. Okay, the first attack situation we're going to deal with here will be a club attack, an overhead club attack. Now we're going to come back with a knife attack. The other side is going to come in with that weapon. Okay. Looks like they didn't have enough. They're coming back with that club again. They're going to try to go for another shot here. All right, we got another knife problem here again. Okay, there's a little demonstration for you in some of the things that you might want to do against a weapon problem. Generally, I always tell anybody if somebody pulls a knife on me, I should pull a .357 out of my boot. Be a better deal. But the problem is, you might not always have it. And sometimes in demonstrations like this, people will say, what are you going to do if a guy has a .357? He's got it aimed at you. I'll say, nothing. Give me my billfold, whatever it takes. But if I ask that guy, I say, well, have you got that .357 with you? He says, no, it's in my truck. So you'll never make it. You won't get it in time. It's only effective if you have it with you. And the problem that we usually face is we never have a problem when we expect it. And it's always at one of those times when you really didn't think anything was going to happen. And it's obvious when you pick up a newspaper nowadays and you read about people getting stabbed, shot, beat up, raped. Something is happening every day. And it's obviously becoming more of a concern. And especially it's a good representative when we can have some kids up here that can show you some things that they're already working on, and that they can continue working with that and develop their self-confidence, their self-discipline, and hopefully, even though we're growing up in a violent society, maybe this will be one group that won't be affected by that problem. And we'd like to invite everybody, too, that's out here today to visit our booth in the Made in Oklahoma building. We're out there. We'll be there all through the duration of the fair. We would like to have you come by our studio, 5917 Northwest 39th Expressway. It's right off MacArthur and 39th. I'd like to have you come out and visit our classes, observe them, take a free trial lesson with us. There's no charge for a session for you. And we even have a special offer for you today. Everybody that will register with us today will get a 2 free week membership with us. You'll be able to come in for 2 free weeks, all the classes you'd like to make. We have 4 sessions per week. You make as many as you feel you have time for. But that's an offer that's going to be hard to top. 2 free weeks of all the classes you'd like to attend. All you got to do is register with us. We'll give you a certificate. You come in and redeem it at your convenience. There's no expiration on that. You come in whenever you'd like. Now, to finish up today, we'd like to go ahead and do one more thing. We're going to work something with Dude Petty. He's got something special he's going to work up for you. As I mentioned earlier, Dude competes in an awful lot of events and tournaments around the country, and there is a specialty division that people compete in kata or in form, and he's going to be going through one of the katas that he's worked up. It's kind of a what we call an American choreographed form or kata. It's not a traditional one. It's something that he's put together himself to kind of coincide with the music. The other things that we do in competition will involve sparring. We're actually out there with a competitor of your own level. We wear foam equipment on our hands and feet. Wear mouthpieces, cup supporters, headgear, shin guards, any amount of protective equipment as possible. The intent is not to try to knock the other person out or down, as you may have seen in full contact karate training, but to score. It's like a game of tag with your hands and your feet, trying to score or hit to a vital target or area. And again, as I mentioned on this November the 10th date at the Myriad, we are having the National Finals Karate Championships that day. And that last year we had over 500 competitors competing for awards. And if you've never been to an event that size, it's like the fair all by itself. It's an all-day event, and you'll be able to see an awful lot. And I hope again that you'll be able to make it. You might also keep your eye on the paper this next week. The Oklahoman has done an article on 3 of our kids, Steve and Dude, and also one other boy who's not here today, David Cummings. We'll have an article coming out this week. So we're real proud of their achievements, and I hope you'll be able to read up on it a little bit more. Good. I'll tell you what, this wind's killing us. Okay, again, we appreciate your attention today, and again, we'd like to be able to visit with you, answer some questions you might have about our training, or ask any of these kids individually some things, and also give you a chance to come up and register with us for that 2 free week offer. It's kind of hard to refuse that deal. All you got to do is come up, put your name in the bucket. We give you 2 free weeks of karate classes, and hope to see you up here in a minute. Thank you again.